Good morning, everybody. This is Pastor Kirk, and it's time for another edition of Monday Morning Encouragement. So I don't know a lot about computers, but there is one feature that I have used a whole lot that has saved me a ton of time. It goes like this. So sometimes I'm trying to run a program, and it'll freeze up on me. And I start watching that colored pinwheel. You know what I'm talking about. Drives me absolutely nuts. And it happens more and more often because my computer's kind of getting up there in years. It's about 7 years old, which in computer years is like 700 years. And what's happening is I have a program that's not responding. It'll keep just trying to run its process, trying to work, but it's just stuck. And it's got everything else stuck too. But here's the feature that I mentioned that I use all the time that's saved me a ton of pain and suffering. And you know what it's called? It's called Force Quit. You ever used Force Quit before? Force Quit stops the program dead in its tracks because it's not going to stop on its own. It won't listen to my commands, and it won't respond, and it's got everything else all frozen up too, so nothing works. So I override all of that, and I use Force Quit, so it just shuts the program down, and things can run again the way that they're supposed to. Now, like I said, I don't know a lot about computers, but I do know a lot about people. I married a person, I have friends who are people. Heck, I even helped make 2 people. And people are similar to computers in this, that we run and run and work and work and we go and we go and we hardly ever stop. We're so focused on, running our programs, right? Doing the things that we need to do to get by, trying to make things work, surviving every day, chasing things that we think will give us purpose or make us happy or give us a certain status, and we get kind of stuck in that cycle, kind of like that little pinwheel that we see on our computers, which is why sometimes we need a force quit. See, I found a really great silver lining in this whole quarantine thing, which is that I've been forced to slow down, forced to reorder my priorities and reevaluate what I think is really important in my life, and ask myself what I'm doing with my time and money and my talents, and whether or not I'm using those to serve myself or to serve God and to serve the people that God's put in my life. See, when we rush and get stuck in that cycle, it's easy to ignore the normal commands that God gives us to stop and rest. So God had to override my process and hit the force quit button in my life. And I'm actually really thankful that he did, because it's refocused everything that I do, my priorities, how I see my family and my friends and my work and my hobbies and interests even, and made me ask myself important questions like, what is this life really all about? So look, this message is for anybody who has felt like they're stuck in a never-ending cycle. I want you to know that God is trying to get your attention. He sees you running and he sees things freezing up, and he knows how people are. I mean, after all, he made, all of them. And so he knows that you need to occasionally quit and rest. And so he gave us Jesus to provide that rest. Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." And when we finally let him override our processes, forces us to quit, some really wonderful things wind up happening when we do that. See, Jesus provides you with his love and his comfort and his strength, but he also opens your eyes up to see what really matters in life, to reorder your priorities, and to not take for granted all the blessings that are all around you. So if you have been forced to quit over the last couple of months, don't waste this opportunity. Find rest in Jesus. Find rest in his love. Find rest in his word. And let it help you consider what really matters in your life. Reorder your priorities. And when it's all over, this whole quarantine thing, which is hopefully very soon, don't wait for the next pandemic to find rest. Because you see, there is this really, really great, built-in force quit every single week where we gather together to find rest. And it's called church. Church is like a little miniature force quit that we have, where I have my sins forgiven, I hear the word of God, I receive his body and his blood so that my eyes can be open to what really matters. My priorities can be reset, my faith can be strengthened, and I find a renewed joy and purpose in what I do and who I do it for, which isn't to run and run and run until I freeze up and break down or try to be great in the eyes of the world, but instead it's that no matter what I do, whether I'm an entrepreneur or a server or a medical worker or a student or a stay-at-home mom or dad or a butcher or a baker or a candlestick maker, to do everything for the glory of God, so that people might know Christ through me, and in doing so, know him and be saved. That is your purpose. That is your function. That is your programming. That is your mission. And what a joy that brings to my life, as opposed to just running myself into the ground for things that I know aren't really going to last. So if you're stuck, listen. God's trying to get your attention. Maybe this is the perfect opportunity to get that rest that he so desperately wants to give to you. And then to continue to find rest and continue to find encouragement every time we gather together in Jesus' name. So, maybe it's time to take a force quit. Have a great week.